Hello, everybody. I am John Garcia,
And I am Steve Edwards.
and we are
Weeding through the BS, right? We're here to get down to the bottom of shit. We like to have a little fun on this podcast, as everybody knows. We're not here. This is not scripted, right, John?
It's never scripted.
John loves
scripts.
John loves scripts. Back when we first started working together, John would give me a script, and
No more scripts.
that's what I did with those scripts, right? We want to get down, right? We want to get people's stories, and we have a phenomenal guest on today, and just his story and what he does out there is amazing. But first, let's talk about our sponsors, leadershipbooks.com. Thank you for all that you are doing with my book. We are excited. January of 2024.
Weeding through the BS.
Yep, the challenges of tech startup.
A new series. It's going to be super awesome. It's going to
Series of weeding through the BS. Multiple offers. I'm the first one in the series, and then we'll have some other ones. John, hopefully, we'll get there, and some other ones. We got Cindy over at Ohm Media. Her PR company is amazing at what she does. Again, she is also with the Sisters of, I always mess that up. Sisters of Success, and that's great. One. She's done so many charities that she's there. TEDx Boca. We all know that I got a little piece of my heart for TEDx Boca. Thank you for letting me be on the TED stage. This, talking about workplace culture and solving the Great Resignation. Jason at the Owl Lab. You want to talk to an expert? You need some questions and you're not getting the advice that you need.
It's the Weeding Through the BS app.
That is maybe we should tell Jason the Owl Lab should be AKA Weeding Through the BS. Get right to the point, right? You have a question about marketing, call somebody. You have a question about an influencer, call them. Pick up the phone. Right. So many people, it's a lost art of picking up the phone, right? Sending a text message.
And especially when they're going to answer. And the person has already said they're going to be available to receive the call. So then they're
getting paid to answer.
Yeah.
Why would they not answer? It's there, right? This morning I actually had it was my best friend's birthday from the Army. And I'm like driving and I'm like, do I send him a text? Nope. I picked up the phone. I said, hey, I know you're already, I've just picked up and just said, hey man, just wanted to say happy birthday. Yeah. So it's there. And last but not least, obviously Premier Virtual that kind of backs us here at the studio and everything like that. So excited. We got Mark. Mark, tell us a little bit about
squeeze it a little bit. We're getting a little tight here. What about you?
I appreciate it. Well, thanks guys for inviting me. I really appreciate the opportunity here. So this is a very great experience for me to be here with you guys. I appreciate it. I love what you're doing.
Thank you. Pleasure. Mark, let's hear a little bit about you and you do so much, right? I met you in a car line, right? Originally, funny story. And I'm going to say this to you. I was like, man, this guy's got a bad attitude. And I was like,
you're not the only one that thinks that.
This guy, I was like,
wait, what kind of line?
A car line
for school,
right?
And you want people to have a good attitude. I don't think.
We talked about that, but Mark is the coach at my son's school, and so I met him, and I was like, man, this guy's got a. Right, he doesn't smile. Right, doesn't say hi to anybody. It's like, geez. Well, then
meanwhile, he's like the smiliest, awesomest.
Right. But I just wanted to tell you because I never told you.
I appreciate that.
But then I see him at the launch of the Owl Lab. He was there, right. Yeah, that's right? So that's where we see him, and then all of a sudden we run into each other at church.
That's right.
So it was like all of a sudden this guy went from not talking, not smiling at me, not waving to me, right? And I'm pretty smiling everywhere. So now I see him everywhere, right? And you just see this smile. And then when I learned your story of everything that you're doing, I was like, man, this is a good man to know. So, tell us.
That's the front. I like to keep things behind the scenes.
What's the moral of that story, Steve?
You just never know.
Yeah.
Right? You never know somebody, right? Sometimes you have to have that front, right? Oh, I gotta be this, right? Because right, we were talking about that earlier in car line. Man, I couldn't do what you guys do with car line.
It's
Nah,
tough. It's tough. It's tough.
A lot of BS on that.
A lot of BS, definitely for sure.
So you're a coach,
No coach.
you have a phenomenal charity,
Yes, it's called
Chess.
American Academy.
Yes. chess
Tell
and
us.
background and basketball. Tell us about this.
It was my dad. I come find out I was a mom when I was 15. I had to raise my own brothers and sisters. So I had an opportunity where I became an adult real fast.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if I call that an opportunity.
well,
Yeah.
but I look at it now because
Yeah.
the lessons I've learned from then till now, it's changed me to be a different person. So I kind of enjoy the growth, but at first I didn't understand why.
Sure.
So I have a reason why I'm here. So I have a reason why this all happened. So basically, my dad came to me and put me in a church and asked me to raise my brothers and sisters. And I said, I don't know how. I started crying as a kid. We were like the Brady Bunch. He married. We had 5. My father had 5, and the other lady had 3. So we were considered the Brady Bunch. We lived in New York for a while.
Yeah.
So upstate Westchester, Rockland County.
Okay.
So we moved to Florida, and it didn't work out great with them. So he asked me to be an adult. So he put us in a drug-infested neighborhood.
Mm.
So from there, I didn't know how to pay like bills and deal with situations. So I went ahead and started doing the wrong things, hang out with the wrong crowd, and start selling drugs every morning. So, but at night though, I would finish around 2:30, but I would always go to school. Always went to school, no matter what. I played ball, played football and basketball. So when I played ball, my coach at one basketball tournament asked me over American Heritage and Plantation, asked me to come and play for the school. But no, I couldn't. I kept thinking about taking care of my brothers and sisters. So while I'm doing that, kept talking to the coach, kept spending time with him, kept going over there over the summer to play in tournaments. He kept asking me. So one of my best friend now, he's in jail for life. He got caught. Well, I took the opportunity because when he got caught at 17, he's got life. So he's been in jail since 17 years old. And he was my best friend. I didn't get caught. I used to sleep in dumpsters to not to get caught. So, but I have a friend of mine, his name is Thad Rutherford, which his mom, he was on my basketball team. I decided to make that change to go to American Heritage. With my coach taking me in. Thad Rutherford was always the one. His mom used to travel all the way from Flamingo to down in Fort Lauderdale 3 times a week at nighttime to pick me up, to take me to his house. So that what kept me out of jail. From there, my brothers and sisters are doing well now. Some are doing well, better than others. But since then, my coach took me in. I told him he molded me the man I am today. So I said to him, look, man, I'm going to start a nonprofit organization. I'm the first generation of my family to graduate high school, first generation of my family to graduate college.
Yeah, that's nice.
So I started an organization when he passed away from cancer. I said, okay, I'm going to start an organization to do the same thing he did for me. So I started doing that in 2005. Ever since then, I've been running with it now to the point where we have kids in college. I have a kid that graduated high school and actually opened his own business in New York. He spoke our last gala.
Yeah,
You remember?
yeah,
You
that
met
was
him.
great,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was Ryan. He came out of town. Yeah.
That's gotta make you feel pretty amazing when you see the fruit of your labor go.
I'm excited, man. It feels good, you know?
It's like a dad. I mean, you're a coach, but obviously I've coached and, I love basketball too. So
Yeah.
I give the same kind of acknowledgement in my life to my coach. My coach was the first person that saw like potential in me.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought I sucked, I never had played organized basketball. And he just took, first time, I was
Taught you
MVP of the
something.
team. I won like 9 shots. Like he just said, John, you can do it. Like
can
that
do
kind of thing. The first
Yeah.
person to tell you that. You don't hear it growing up in the
No.
city. It's always some other stuff. And then,
Going on.
yeah.
But my coach, I mean, he was amazing. Trust me, it's time to hit me up now.
Sure. Yeah.
It's time he got on me hard.
Yeah.
That what made me the man I am today. And I think that's what we're lacking. We're lacking that. Yeah.
for sure.
We're lacking tough love.
Yeah.
I think we want to be more than their friends instead of their fathers or their, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
We don't give them we don't hold them accountable for anything now.
No, yeah.
So that's why you can't see their full potential because we don't hold them accountable. It's push them to see what they're capable of. But
Yeah.
Well, you're gonna go to write down John's favorite topic.
It's tough. I've been a parent of 2 boys
Uh-huh.
and divorced, so I have a limited amount of time with my sons growing up,
Okay.
and so you want to be the friend, but you do know justice solving their problems. That's
Yeah,
how I
that's
look at it.
100%.
So when they have a problem, I always say, come with me with the problem and come with me with
With
two
solutions,
solutions.
that's right.
Because too many parents just want to say, well, do this, do that, do this, do that. And it's like, well, they don't think for themselves at all that way.
No.
Even if they fail, let them fail.
Let 'em fail,
Right?
it's
Yeah,
okay.
It's tough, but
It-
that's
it's-
you gotta learn that.
Like anything you do, anything in life, you fail, you learn from your mistakes and you grow.
Yeah.
That's the only way life works. But if you keep it giving handout, you'll never know how it is to fail.
Mhm.
You never know how to grow because you're looking for that handout every time.
Yeah.
So that's the thing that I try to explain to the kids in our program.
Yeah, because what happens when that is missing, right? Because sooner or later, you're not gonna be there to solve it.
You're not.
And something can happen like in your situation where you're young and that goes away,
Yeah.
so. You gotta prepare them, I mean, so, but I do think this generation, it's the parents' fault, right? It's our own fault. It's not this, everyone blames the generation of, they're lazy or.
No.
Well,
We gotta hold
kind
them
of
accountable.
created that culture.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And especially with social media, with everything going on too. I think,
Steve's quiet because he has two little boys.
yeah.
I mean, you'd be like, take it all in. Oh, you cried?
And that's
how
all,
it is.
because it's easy to say and it's hard
Yeah,
to do. I
it
know
is.
when you're there and your kid's crying, you just want
Yeah.
them to shut up, so you wanna, you give in to
Yeah,
them.
but you gotta let them grow and go through that pain.
I have a buddy, actually, the guy from Smoke Inn, Abe?
Yeah, I know, Abe,
Okay.
yep, yeah.
So he has his kids, he goes, you can cry. You just have to cry by yourself in your own room. So like if they want something and they start,
Uh-huh.
he's fine, cry, go to your own room and cry. So what kid is gonna cry alone? You're not getting the attention.
No.
You're not getting the situation solved, so they're not gonna cry. I love that one. I
Christine,
mean,
I
Abe's a
hope
good
you are
guy.
listening and we are taking notes on that.
yeah, cry, that's okay, we understand, go ahead,
Yeah.
the room is.
It's over there.
It
Morning there, not here.
takes all the power away
It
of
does.
what that crowd, so
It
Abe,
does.
you'll meet him tonight,
Yeah.
he's a great guy. He's a-
Real cool guy, yeah. So that's where.
I need learn teaching lessons on it.
Yeah, it's true.
Because
It's not
I
in
am,
any book, it's not in any
it's,
course.
it drives, it's one of those things that I guess probably from back when I used to laugh at people when they cried, in my dating days,
Yeah,
you
okay.
cried. I would laugh at you, and now it's karma coming back to me.
Yeah.
When my kids cry, I'm like, okay, whatever you want. I'm getting better, right? I am getting better, right? But it's a learning, it's
Learning, it's as you go, like I
Yeah.
said, there's no handbook to it.
Yeah,
So that's how it
exactly.
works, yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about your academy and what you're doing, right? Chess.
Yeah, we
basketball.
started, like I said, 2005, we started the program. Since then, like I said, we had kids to college, opening their own business in New York. And you just start growing from there. I never stop. I'm very persistent, and persistent and consistent. on the things that I do. So I have a lot of challenges I went through it, but what I've learned is that as you continue growing to the point where we have it right now, it's in Delray at Pompey Park is where
Okay.
we run our program. We have a chess tournament from kids 8 to 10 or 11 years
Nice.
old. And then we have a basketball program from kids third grade all the way through sixth or seventh grade. And then we also have a tutoring program, which we actually tutor the kids from I think second grade and up to sixth grade.
Nice.
And on Saturdays, we have high school where we also help with the SAT and ACT and the tutor the high school kids that
So
they need as well.
you're tutoring them, helping them in basketball and in chess.
Well, not me per se. We have a
Right,
staff.
but
Yeah, but
your team, right? And I
Yeah.
think we have Stacy here, and I'm gonna guess she's the one that handles all the social media.
she does handle a lot of our social media for us and other aspects too. And we have some staff members. She'll probably tell you some more about the staff that we have.
He's getting you on here today, Stacy.
Yeah, but-
He knows it. He
So-
said it before. You're getting on here today.
And we,
A little cameo at least.
yeah, right. So again, we have some great sponsors that support us and some board members that we have that helps our program grow. And we're in the process now of getting our own little facility, so I'm very excited about that, and that's why we have a lot of events going on in the next couple of months.
Perfect. And great segue into that. Tell us about your event that's coming up, right? We're excited.
And yeah, very excited. June 9th, we're gonna be over at Smoke Inn. It's a great event that we're having with Rashad Evans will be there to go ahead and sign autographs, meet some people. We also partnered up with UFC. A couple months ago, it's called UFC Fit. It's a program that's inviting with kids to come in and actually work out with MMA fighters and wrestlers.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
So
Steve's a boxer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Long time ago.
Oh, yeah.
Boxer. I mean,
Y'all tell that to Rashad, a little piece of you, huh?
Yeah. I don't think my.
Let's do it.
But,
Celebrity boxing.
Yes, that would work. Fundraiser. I can see that.
just get in, me and Rashad getting in the ring and be like, listen, you gotta at least let me fix you once. Now, back when I was younger, I had better fast hands, but, yeah, I actually talk about, I won state when I was 15 years old. So then I lost in the regional champion, in the regional championship, I lost to the Minnesota state champion.
Okay.
He was a little more experienced, but when I got out of the army, I didn't know where I wanted to go, and I went to Vegas and I was like, I want to box, because I always said I wanted one pro fight.
Yeah.
And I unfortunately got hooked up with a really bad trainer out there. And this guy, it was good, he was getting, but I didn't have, right? Boxers made garbage money back then in '99. Like, you'd get $150 for your first fight, right? I wasn't a good fighter. It was terrible, but this is a funny story, right? Getting off on the boxing tangent. I haven't told this story in a long time. So I got this trainer and we were there, and he would put me in the ring because he knows I would get in the ring with anybody. Right. He put me in there one time with this guy who was like some karate expert, had the fastest hands out there. So I get in the ring.
Who hit me? Who hit me?
Actually, the opposite.
Oh, yeah.
This guy didn't touch me for 3 rounds.
Oh, wow.
I whipped this guy's ass, right?
Okay.
He was supposed to be this stud. I kicked his ass. Never, not one time did this guy touch me with a punch. So now my coach is like, okay, this guy's pretty good, right? I was still kind of new in there, but he wanted to put me in with these other people. He put me in with pretty much anybody. And then I get in there one time with this guy who was a bouncer. He wasn't a boxer. This guy was 250 pounds and he fought me Roy Jones style. He had his hands down at his waist, and I'm like, I'm faster than this guy. I get up, I go to throw a jab. He hit me with the right hand so hard, dropped me to my knees, and I was like,
where did that go?
Where did that come from? Right, my jaw was messed up for a long time, but he would continue to do this. But all during this time too was when women's boxing started coming in. So guess how much women were getting paid for their first match?
$75.
$500.
Wow.
So this guy was, instead of pushing me, was pushing this other lady who came in, who said she had she was really tough, right? So she was going to get her first fight. And I'm like, coach, she's not ready. And he's like, we're going to get her in the ring. I'm like, she can't even do the circles around the ring without stopping because she won't stop smoking. And I'm like, you're going to put her in the ring because you get paid $250 instead of the $75 off of me.
They get half the money.
Right? Yeah. Oh yeah, because he was the trainer and the man, right? Oh yeah. Right. You're the trainer and the manager, right? So they were getting this. So this guy's like, we're putting her in the ring, and I'm like, she can't get in the ring. I'm like, you need to put her in sparring with some people that she can understand it. And he wouldn't. He put her in there with people that were inexperienced and everything. And finally one day he comes to me, he's like, Steve, I'm going to put you in the ring with her. Now, I am very I do not believe in hitting a woman. I don't believe in this, but he wanted me to help train her. Right. So I go, okay, right. Let's see where she's got, right. Not going to sit there and, it's not going to be an ass whip. And it was, let's make sure that she can kind of do the things. So we get in there and I'm like, okay, did I smile a little bit? Yes, because she was, now at the same time, she was so cocky and arrogant. She never even had an amateur fight. And I'm like, granted, I only had 15 amateur fights at the time, but she had no amateur fights and she was just cocky. So she'd come into the gym and just act like she was the best. And I was like, me and some of the other people were just like, we couldn't take this, right? So all of a sudden I get in and I'm like, okay, right. I smile. Coach looks at me and goes, no right hands. And I go, okay, so now
not only
I get it. You don't want me to hit her hard, right? We're kind of just seeing everything. But you're going to get in and train somebody who's going to have a pro fight in a couple weeks
and say no right hand
and not let her opponent throw right hands.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got it, right? We're good. This is what you want to do.
You can touch her
So I
up
get
with
in
it,
there.
right? You don't
Wait,
believe it.
oh no. So we come in, so we get out, we get in the ring, I come in and I just go like this, just a quick snapshot. Boom, not even hard. Top of the headgear right here. Again, not hard. Boom. Oh my gosh, that hurt. Oh, starts screaming.
You're like, what?
I look at the coach and I go, are you fucking kidding me? You're gonna put her in the ring.
Oh
He goes,
my
yeah.
goodness.
I go, there is not a chance she's gonna win. I'm like, I
hilarious.
tapped her. And he's like, we gotta get it ready. So
There's no
sure
way.
enough, right? Day comes, her fight comes. I don't go to her fight that night. Next day she comes to the gym and I knew what happened. She quit, right? She quit on the stool. She went out the first round. She did everything she had. She threw all of her stuff out. She was too tired, so she quit on the chair. Now she walked in the gym. I have a choice of what to make right here. Do I laugh at her? Or do I go over and say, listen, let's get you trained up. Made some mistakes, right? We got some things that we want to work on. Let's get you better so you can go out and win the next time. And that's what I did. I walked right up to her. I gave her a hug. I'm sorry to hear this, but let's get you more prepared. Let's get you ready for the next one.
Makes sense.
You want to know what happened there?
Yeah.
Never saw her again in the gym. She was so arrogant, right? But she couldn't take it because she didn't want to prepare. She was looking for a quick paycheck.
Yeah.
But then I realized, right, then when the coach, right, he did some other stuff and I realized this guy doesn't care about me. He wanted to put me in the ring with a European heavyweight champion. Okay. At this point in my life, right now I'm 200 pounds. At this point in my life, I was 160 pounds. I was fighting at 156. He wanted to put me in with a guy who was well over 200 pounds, right? I already told you what happened with the bouncer, right? And this European heavyweight champion was bigger. And what do you think I said? Hell yeah, put me in the ring. My buddy goes, dude, he goes, this guy's going to hit you light and you're going to be hurt. You can't do it. And we went out that night, Eddie and I, and Eddie's like, dude, you can't deal with this guy anymore. Like this guy is going to use you and abuse you. This is how it is.
Yeah.
So Eddie had a different trainer. So I started training with the other guy. I realized that guy wasn't that good either. And I realized this is a horrible business. And I said, I'm done, right? I was 21 years old. I was making $8 an hour working at the Hard Rock Hotel. And I said, I don't want to get punched in the face anymore. You know, and that was kind of my end of my boxing, right? So I had to make that decision, but
I used to love boxing, man. I watched it, and that's, love sports
Back
in
in the
general,
day.
but, yeah, with, Mayweather and,
Yeah.
and of course Tyson, like, we'd be, every fight, but boxing is a sport, like, obviously, unlike any other. You told, one-on-one, no one else there. There are one-on-one sports, but not where you get punched in the face.
right. But it kind of goes into
It's a,
bad coaching, and you're a great coach. What makes you so successful, right? Because I don't see you doing what that guy did to me.
No, because I like to get to know the kids better. I like to build a relationship with them. I'm firm with them, but I'm fair and I'm honest.
it was one of the referees used to say that, I'm firm, but I'm fair.
Yeah, and I'm
People
honest.
feel it, Yeah.
And then they gotta understand that, you're not the greatest player in the world, and then you can get better.
Mhm.
But you got certain skills you gotta work on, and I'm here to help you, but I don't want you to be cocky to the point where you think you are. And then everybody telling you you're great when I need you.
So when they cry and they're like, oh, complain or like,
I said, leave the gym.
yeah.
I say
What about when
leave
the
the
parent says? my
Then
son needs more
then
playing
you find another.
Have you ever had a fight? There we go. There we go. This is my favorite. I told you, like,
You find another team. Unfortunately, this is not a good fit
This
for you.
isn't a good. we
Because
don't-
I want to raise men,
Yeah.
and young women that comes to the program. And that there's life skills that needs to happen before they can even be
That's what it's all about.
great
That's
great
all about.
ball players
Yeah.
or whatever. Because you can be great, but what if you don't have the other things that you need to be
Mhm.
to be able to focus and function in the real world?
Yeah.
Because sports teaches you everything.
Basketball? Is that
Basketball was
football?
basketball was my thing.
I mean, I think football is the greatest team sport because you have
Yes.
11 guys.
Yeah,
But in basketball, it's amplified because it's 5 guys. So if one guy messes up, the other four.
four.
It's like more responsibility. I was a point guard on my team.
That's
and-
what I was.
Yeah, and that it kind of runs.
You're the
around.
general.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're gonna be that kind of person that's not coachable, in fact, Michael Jordan, one of my favorite things he says is, of all the things that he had going for him, he says his greatest trait was that he was cold.
Yeah.
That's what he
Yeah.
said. That was his. Yeah.
And that's the problem we're having now, that the parents see these things and they, funny story, this is really one that's. I had a parent come to me, and I deal with this a lot. Oh, my kid's the greatest player, this and that. I said, all right, well, come to the gym. We'll see what he can do. Oh, he can shoot the ball, he can barely make a layup, he barely dribble. And I'm like, they're the greatest player in the world. But those are the things I'm talking about. They don't know.
Yeah.
And they're your kids. Of course, you're gonna hype them up, but you also gotta be fair to them. You gotta let them know that there's progress. It takes steps to be. Yeah. You can. But they do that, and it's not fair to the kid, because then you bring them out to see to a place like mine where I train them. And honestly, when they start with me, they start when they're real young. So I don't get them when they're
Bad habits.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we play teams where they pick teams. They go out and pick kids,
Right.
best players.
Yeah.
I don't do that. I like to train them, get rid of the bad habits.
Right.
So that way they're fundamentally sound, because by the time they hit 9th grade, our kids don't play at JV in high school. They go straight to varsity.
Wow.
So that's exactly what we do.
Mhm.
So because I have them so young, I developed all those habits, and we get the bad habits out, weed out. So if your kid that plays good and you want to come in, you're gonna have a lot of bad habits I have to fix.
I love that, because I tell my son, like, you don't choose your future,
Mhm.
you choose your habits, and your habits determine your future, right? You
Exactly.
get good habits, you work hard, you have the
Yeah.
fundamentals. That's what's gonna really kind of
Mhm.
set because you can't just say, okay, I'm gonna do this without the good habits.
Yeah.
It's gonna not last.
But here's another thing I tell kids all the time too. We always say, use that same practice makes perfect,
Right,
right?
yeah.
No, it's practice perfect.
Right,
Practicing perfect
Right, yeah.
makes perfect.
it's true, yeah.
See, they say practice makes perfect. No, you practice perfect.
Practice the way you're gonna play.
Yes,
Yeah,
and that's
right.
gotta be, that's
Right.
what makes you perfect.
Yeah,
So that's one of the things I try to explain to them, that your practice, how you practice is how you play.
but it's all about, I mean, it's all about the coach, because you set the culture. I mean,
Tempo, yeah.
you talk about workplace culture on a team, right? You played it in boxing, you had no one else. Like it's you set your own level of expectation. But in a team, you can have, there's different, and the coach is everything, man. You gotta not take less than the best, right? From everybody. That's what
That's what I mean. I push them all, and they all have different talents.
Yeah,
Don't get me
right,
wrong. They all
exactly,
have
yeah,
different
and different
talents.
levels, yeah.
Yeah, and one thing I don't deal with is the fact that I tell the kids, I don't want ever when you make fun of anybody on this
Right,
team,
yeah.
because that same kid that you made fun of is the same one at that free throw line and win that game.
That's true.
Now, all the time you've been clowning him,
Mhm.
he's at that free throw line and win that championship game.
No,
So now it's got pressure on him because he's like, you don't have that confidence.
Mhm.
So lift each other up, trust each other, and push each other. In practice, they're going soft with each other. I said, no, you're not helping him get better. Push him.
Dude, our
Make him
practices, our best friends, we'd end up from fist fights.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like
We
and then
can't do that
afterwards,
now,
no,
okay?
they
This
said-
is-
yeah, no, we ended up in fist fights, and it was and then, you know what? I never this was awesome. Like our coach would say, your practice should be harder than your game.
Yes.
Because when you play the game, it's
Yes,
like these
it's
guys.
easy. It's easy.
My own teammate would kick my butt, would harder than any
Yeah.
other like other opponent that we would ever play. So
Yeah.
it was.
And we also get together, like we take the kids fishing, we
That's cool.
bond
Yeah,
together,
that's
so we
cool,
take
yeah.
them fishing out. We take
How do
them
you
to
fund
Silver.
everything? Like, is it?
Sponsorships and
So
donations.
the kids, there's a tuition or?
We do have a small fee for the tutoring to help us stay cover the cost for,
That's awesome.
yeah,
So
for the facility that we do use at this time. Our donors and the sponsors. help
So
us
that's
through the
must be
program.
tough, huh?
It is.
That's probably the toughest part of the whole thing.
I'm always networking,
Yeah.
always networking. I'm excited about the facility about to come up, but it's a lot, we have to do a lot of fundraising to help us raise the fund for that. But it's a challenge. I love it because, like I said, I'm not trying to change everybody. I'm just trying to change what the coach did for me.
Yeah.
I've already made that commitment to myself. So at work, I'm gonna go to work, like you said, at Carline. I'm not there to make sure. I just want to make sure the kids are safe. I'm there.
Not do that, John.
Yeah, I just want to make sure they're safe. That's what it is. They consider my kids too, because at the end of the day, when the parents drop them off, they're all responsibility.
Yeah.
And you have parents who's in their car line, they're talking, or they're in their phones, and the kids trying to cross us. And if something happens to them, so that's why I'm firm like that. So just to make sure things get done right. And that's why you said something.
I'd rather you be firm than just lackadaisical. And also,
Yeah.
my son lackadaisical runs out, which he does.
They
and,
do, they all do. They
you
all do.
know, So I got a pressing question,
Okay.
okay? This one, John, I don't even think you're ready.
All right,
This one.
hit us with it. Don't be us.
You're a basketball guy, right? You played in college, you're there, you're doing something to, right, what your coach did for you, you're doing for hundreds of kids, right? I think is so honorable. But I gotta know this question. What's that? Who's the GOAT for basketball?
Michael Jordan.
There we go.
Bam.
That's the question right there.
I
baby.
know,
Come on now.
I figured you were gonna say that.
Come on.
I was just hoping you were going the other direction.
Well, I'll say this, he is, but Kobe, I slept on Kobe because I didn't like that, he just kind of came new to me
Yeah.
when I was younger and then was winning on everything, so I was a hater. And now that I follow him, man,
Phenomenal.
wow, that guy, man. Do you follow him at all?
So you said this to me the other day.
Yeah.
So what's today? Wednesday? Monday morning,
Mhm.
I woke up and I told my wife, I said, my wife's not a morning person. She's not listening right now. So I can say that. My wife, like, it literally is, I have to have coffee to her. I train my kids to get her coffee. You can't talk to her
Yeah.
before. I said, I'm getting up at 5:30. I'm going to the gym, right? And I go at 6:30. I have my routine. I go, I'm getting up at 5:30. I woke up at 5:25. And I didn't want to get out of bed. And what you said the other day, what did Kobe say? Don't negotiate with yourself.
That's right.
That's right.
Do
That is
not
so true.
negotiate. And I was at the gym by 5:35.
That's awesome.
That's right.
Yeah.
But I thought that, right? And so the little thing, right? It's mindset and everything that you're doing. That's why I think Kobe, was there. But I love hearing that Michael Jordan, because I believe that too, right?
100%.
There's
I mean,
nobody that's close.
And Kobe would say the same thing.
Yeah.
Because
All the good players
Yeah.
that are
They know.
arrogant.
That
they know.
aren't James, that aren't named James.
Things.
You think he plays next year?
Yeah, he'll be back.
He'll be back.
He'll be back.
Yeah.
You don't want to leave out like that.
Yeah. so
That's the only thing, you don't wanna go out like.
Yeah,
that,
you
but
don't
I-
wanna go out.
But you gotta go out, I mean, I don't know.
I may not be a LeBron James fan for some of the stuff that he's done, but if I'm in his shoes, I play 2 more years. I
Why?
gotta play with my son.
That's cool, yeah, that's cool.
I just think it would be great. Granted, my kids are 5 and 8, but like if you could. So-
You gotta play a long time.
Yeah, I'll be like, I don't know, 60, but I just think that, like, if I could do that, like, when Griffey got to play with his dad, like, not very many people
I
get to
wish
do
him
that.
all the best. Don't get me wrong, but so what happened this last game?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I saw he got brushed in the air and he flopped across the ground. Yeah, I saw that, right?
He should be playing soccer, he'll play soccer next year, I think.
Academy Awards.
He may work at the FIFA.
Academy Awards.
I mean, he's gotta be up for it. Like, that's just
That's
unbelievable.
embarrassing. to
Yeah.
Watch that back, it's like
You know,
really skinny you.
when did Michael
No,
Jordan
no,
behave like that?
Never.
When did Kobe behave like this?
Never. Like, I think that part of why I don't like watching NBA anymore is that, like, we all complain, but not like this. And obviously the fouls that we used to take were a
No,
lot
not-
different,
oh.
like you tackle people, clothesline
Oh.
people and all like that. But now it's like, it's.
You
so
barely get
embarrassing.
touched
Yeah.
and you're still acting up.
Like, it should be an automatic technical foul,
Agree.
right? If you even look at the ref, it should be a
Agreed.
technical foul, boom, end the story.
Who is that? Bill Lambier.
Sorry, I'm
Bill
gonna-
Lambier.
Bill Lambier, the 76 or not 70, the Detroit Pistons.
Oh, the Pistons was
Everybody,
hard, man.
everybody,
Yeah.
Heat, Knicks, it was all Boston. I mean,
Yeah, it was bad.
They
back
show
then.
they show the replays of people coming down the lane and it's like, okay, who wants to?
Close lines. Karl Malone,
Oh,
the mailman.
And he wasn't even that aggressive, like, he was more finesse than he would for his size.
Roger.
But yeah, oh my God.
Yeah.
Lambier was dangerous.
I mean, those guys were crazy back then, right? Just like some of the football players,
But you
right? That
learn
just goes.
Learn a lot of lessons.
Yes, you did.
Grit,
So I,
resilience.
so I think that's there. So we got off subject here, right? Talking about the boxing, right? With Shot Evans. Your event.
Yes.
When is it? Where is it? How can people find out about it? Such a great event.
Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, it's definitely June 9th. It will be at Smoke Inn on Boynton Beach. You can Google that. We're raising money for our facility. We'll have auctions and raffles at the event. So we encourage everybody.
That's a Friday.
Yes, a Friday,
Yeah.
7 to 11.
Okay.
7 to 11.
Right.
DJ music, auction, food. We're packing the place up basically. Thanks to Abe and Smoke Inn, he definitely assists us with that, helping us with the location. We're giving out raffles up to the point where you can purchase cigars, cigar box.
Yeah, Abe does a great job, by the way.
Yeah.
He raises toys for kids every year. He has a heart, I mean, he has 5 kids.
Yeah, 5 kids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a big time parent.
He stays busy 24/7,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
He's a real good guy.
Good, I'm glad he, I happen to be a cigar smoker too, so it all works.
Worked out
It's a
great.
great
Yeah. So we got 2 big boxes of cigars. I think the values was like $300.
Oh, wow,
Yeah,
okay.
real nice.
John will be
I'll put
good
it, I'll
on
put it,
that.
raffle.
Yeah.
I mean, I had to go, Mark took me over there the first day,
Oh,
and
that's
I
right.
came in and met, and he's like, what do you want? I'm like, I want a sweet cigar.
He did. He did.
I
They
did.
kick him out of
But
it.
no, no, he just get that, huh?
But the best was I go to the bar and I go,
Swiffer
I was
sweets.
like, I go to the,
Back in my.
I go to the bar and, so Mark's got all his buddies that are over there that I'm about to meet for the first time, right? Because we're gonna be doing the live podcast there and
Yeah,
interviewing
yeah,
some
cool.
people. But Mark was interested, and I'm like, oh, they got a high noon here, and Mark goes,
Oh,
No, don't strike two.
two.
I'm like,
No,
oh,
it's
my
like,
God,
just-
man. I knew.
he goes, just do not order, and I am a high noon
I
fan.
expect you're gonna
He
order
goes,
like a tea or something.
I'm at a cigar bar. I want a sweet-
Everybody turned around and called attention. Looks with that high noon and like, what?
Yeah, I was like, I probably
Tito's and stick to your Tito's.
no more, but
Yeah.
now I gotta find a new one, new drink. So, but yeah, I won't order high noons in there.
Okay.
We're excited. So June 9th, smoke in
And
Boynton
we'll be
Beach.
live there with our podcast, so that's pretty cool.
We'll be live there interviewing, really helping, fundraise for the facility. So excited about that. You guys are doing such good things. I love what you guys are doing for the kids.
I appreciate it.
So we didn't get really to talk about, right, the chess. How did you get into chess?
I've been playing that. Well, I started with my younger son. My oldest son is in, I started with my oldest son. He's in college right now at Frostburg State University. He has a full ride in basketball. He's playing over there, D2.
Congrats.
Thank you. Just something I fell in love with when I was little. My coach also was the one that started me with
Okay.
that. So I started teaching him. And then, as the program started growing, I started saying, these are the things that everything that I put in this program is something I was taught by him. So I love the idea that all these little things, even when I play chess, I'm thinking 3 steps ahead, even in life.
For sure.
I'm thinking 3 steps ahead about things. Yeah. So all these things I didn't realize was just a factor that he provided that will eventually change my life later on.
Yeah.
So it's amazing to see all that. And now these kids, I have kids, they're playing adults and playing very well. So
Okay, I got a question, because I
Yeah.
did that with my son
Uh-huh.
and kicked his ass, and then
Keep
one
doing it.
day, he beat me.
Yep,
How did you, it happened to you?
it happened.
And then you're like, what?
the hell?
What happened? I'm not, and he beat me again. I mean, Gavin got really good at it, and it's awesome, like, to see that. I think, you hate losing, right? But
Yeah.
it's like,
I will beat a kid in tic-tac-toe if he's 5 years
Right,
old.
yeah.
You know why? It's not because he will learn.
right.
And by the
Oh,
time
my
he's
son, when
6,
he
7
beat
years
me,
old,
was so happy.
Yeah.
He was like, so happy.
yeah, and you were happy for him because you're like, finally got
Deep
it.
inside.
Yeah.
Outside, I was a little dumb.
I know, you
I'm a
love
slow-
it, man. They love it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, chess is a great, obviously you're thinking, 3 turns ahead.
Yeah.
It's great for life.
It is,
Love it.
it is. With every business and everything you do and meeting people and how to react to their behavior, something doesn't work this way, that way. So it's something that's very impressive.
Well, I know you get your gratitude from seeing them.
Yes.
Do
Yes,
that, because you probably don't always get the thanks, not
Uh,
everyone comes through, but we thank you.
I appreciate that.
Yes.
What you're doing for the community, and we want to support you however we can.
I
Yeah,
appreciate that, guys.
we love that, everything that you're doing, giving back. Like I said, from the first time that we had breakfast or lunch,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
When we met over there and I heard a little bit more about your story, it's like, wow, this is so great, right?
Appreciate it.
Love to see what you're doing.
I'd like you to bring to Stacy a little bit, tell you a bit more about the program and how it got started.
Yeah. She's
Bless
so Stacy is over here and Mark is like, we're getting you on. She's like, no, I'm not coming on. And Stacy, are you coming on?
Yeah,
It's time.
it's time.
It's time for Stacy. She's gonna come on, talk a little bit about that. And then, obviously before we go, we will ask the questions.
Yeah.
You want to do the questions first or you want to do Stacy?
Let's do Mark's.
Let's do Mark. Okay, Mark,
Yeah.
right, as we leave all, right, two truths and a lie.
Okay.
We are, think of these two truths and we have to pick, right? See which one is a lie, see who's a better BS detector.
Okay.
So any order, give us
Two, okay, two
three simple
truths
statements.
and a lie.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. I met Scottie Pippen. I met Shaquille O'Neal.
Okay.
And another one here.
So you could either be like really playing.
And
heavy games
I
with
went
us.
scuba diving last week.
Scuba diving last
Mhm.
week.
Yeah.
Now he remembers. Mark. Go scuba diving's BS.
That's what I say too. Scuba diving's BS.
Black man can't scuba dive. You said it.
Too many people try to trick us. Too many people try to trick us with that end.
That
We're
was too,
right.
that was too easy.
Too easy.
Then you threw last
I
week.
did
Then you threw last week.
I know.
You would have been like,
Scuba diving this week.
We had, who was that?
sorry.
Who swam with the volcano?
Oh, yeah,
Gino?
Gino, yeah.
Gino did, right?
Yeah.
Gino did, and yeah.
Yeah, he ended up diving here in Hawaii, and then there was like this little thing he had to dive under to get to this volcano cave and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's black. He's my. I used to rent
Yeah.
from him, so it was like
So
I had when you said that it was out the window. Like, you were there. It was like you tried to lie to us, you know. So
Thank you.
I love
all
it,
right.
man.
Well,
You're welcome,
Mark,
man.
let's
Thank
get.
you.
Hey, grab the marker real quick.
Oh, yeah, sign the
Grab,
okay.
there it is. Sign our wall for us. Right?
Awesome.
You get to come. You're on the Weeding Through the BS podcast, so
Okay.
and then we'll get Stacy over here.
Awesome, man. Anywhere?
Anywhere you want.
Yep.
Yeah, we are excited about that. You know, Rashad Evans, right? Ex-UFC champion, just that, but more, not just that, it's what you guys are doing
I appreciate
and what you guys are giving back. Cause you know, so many people, stuff was given to them and stuff was, you know, they were helped out, but they don't give back. So hearing your story of your coach, right? You didn't even get into as much detail as you've told me before of what this guy did for you and how he did it for you and everything you have. And now you're taking what you learned from him to be able to give back. That's just such an amazing story. So now we get Stacy.
Hi,
Welcome.
thank you.
So I don't know what you want to talk about, Stacy, but really the floor is yours to kind of talk about the academy, what you're doing, you know, with your facility or you. What do you do? Tell us a little bit about you first, right? Mom.
Yes, I'm a mom. I'm a teacher. I have 12-year-old twins. They're almost 13. They're in 7th grade.
Twins.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Double trouble.
Very much so. I have a boy and a girl, so it's a little bit different
Okay.
because they're not on the same level.
Who's more trouble?
He used to be, and now she is. It's just kind of the age, like
yeah.
boys are always restless and rambunctious when they're little, and as she's entering her teenage years, it's rough.
Yeah.
It is rough.
She's ramping up ahead of.
Yeah,
ahead of him.
yeah.
So
Bigger kids, bigger problems, hate to tell you.
That's true.
I want to ask the toughest question right here, right? We're gonna jump right in before you finish.
Okay,
Tougher job, teacher or mom?
mom,
Yeah.
no doubt.
Or Caroline,
You was- I don't do that.
You don't do Caroline?
No.
You kill somebody.
All right, so back to you. I just had to ask that, right? 'Cause we know how tough it is to be a teacher.
It's rough, but you know, we get to give him back at the end of the day. Like I get my 8 hours in and then I'm like, go home.
Yeah.
What grade do you teach?
I teach 3rd right now. I'm
Okay.
actually headed to kindergarten next year.
Oh, you are? You're not gonna be in 3rd?
No.
I was wondering if there was gonna be a chance,
I
you
know.
know, is there? So kindergarten.
Yeah, the 3rd grade team is awesome though.
Really?
You'll love anybody you
Okay.
get. Yeah, I'm headed for the littles.
Well, you realize there's still a chance, right?
Oh, yes, I
Yeah.
actually saw the picture on the Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, maybe.
There is, yeah.
Yeah.
He starts, he was there today, so, you know, we're trying to get him into that school, you know, now it's a big boy school, no more little small little VPK school, so it's, but I think he's gonna be good, right? I think
He
it's,
starts kindergarten next
yeah,
year?
yeah,
Yeah.
Gavin starts kindergarten, so,
Nice.
you know,
Yeah.
so.
I thought Christine
So-
was pregnant.
No.
Two.
Two.
There's
So,
no chance,
so
like-
mom, teacher, what else?
Well, I do a lot of things. I work at a gym.
Okay.
I
Nice.
do that so I can get a membership because I'm a teacher.
Yeah.
And I need to work out and I don't have a lot of money, so. I also teach CPR on the side, and then I am the director of operations for American Economy. So basically, all of my free time goes to that. Any spare moments, I'm
Well, that
I
means
was
you
gonna
have
say
no
you
free time.
have,
Right, exactly.
I mean,
Doesn't
you guys, you know, I know, you know, Mark, I'll send an email and I get something back from you,
Yes.
right? You are, I always say, right, it's that person that's there with you, and I think you guys,
That's
you
true.
know.
When I met Mark last year at the fundraiser, he's like, Stacy does everything.
Like, we got in here today, I was giving them shirts, and I said, oh, my, Jana, who runs our social media, and my business partner, Gary, I'm like, oh, they're gonna be mad at me because I messed up the shirts, and what did you say?
that's familiar.
That happens with you guys as well.
All the time.
So
Yes.
tell us a little bit about, you know, Mark said something about curriculum or something like this. What do you want to say?
Oh, well, I do a lot. I mean, right now we're working on partnering up with our consultants, which is why we're raising the money right now. And we're building a curriculum that's based around the sports that you guys were talking about. And essentially, everything that you learn in sports can be applied to academic success.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many things that you can learn playing basketball, fishing, playing chess
Yeah.
that you can apply to academics. And, you know, like you guys were talking about earlier, like our kids don't know accountability. They don't know how to be patient. Our kids don't know how to be bored. If
It's
you're
true.
sitting in
That's
a
a
classroom
brilliant
for
point.
more than
Yeah.
30 seconds,
That's
they're like,
right.
I'm bored. I'm like, okay, go be bored for a minute.
Mhm.
Like, it's okay to just have idle time, and they don't understand that. Everything is in their face, and with social media, it's
The
always
stimulus.
right here. Yeah, and they don't know delayed gratification.
Mhm.
It's always immediate. So, you know, those kinds of things you learn through sports. And we were talking earlier about implementing all of those, the things that you are academics with these littles. Sports, you can teach all of that through
Right.
play,
Yeah. That's true.
regardless. So that's where we're headed with our curriculum.
That's awesome.
And
Yeah.
that's just amazing, right? But you talk about, we all get bored quick, right?
Mhm.
So how many times, right? And I'll ask everybody on this panel, because I know that there's times that I'm there, that if you're looking at, call it Facebook Reels, that how quick do you slide up,
Mhm.
right?
Seconds,
Instant.
yeah.
Right, so, you know, there was a study, and then they said that the study was fake, that we now have less attention span than a goldfish. You
Oh,
know,
wow.
but if you
Squirrel.
think about it, right?
Yes.
These guys all know how I am, but you think about that, right? When you look at social media, how quick do you look? You're scrolling up, you're looking at pictures, you're not looking at them long, you know, and you're
But
like.
again, it's like, that's the environment. Like, my kids grew up playing video games. I grew up playing real sports. They grew up playing video games. I tried to put them in sports, they sucked. And it's like, shit, I'm a sports dad, and my kids suck, but they turned out to be tremendous musicians. Both of them are amazing. So they just wasn't a fit for them. But, you know, it's like, we didn't have that stimulus of the digital thing and the video. I mean, we played Atari, right? Bang, bang, bang. How long are you gonna play that for? It just sucked. It's like, it doesn't keep your attention. These kids are overwhelmed with stimulus, so it's like a drug, right? And now it's up to us to kind of fill in these little voids when it really wasn't a void. So, like you said, you don't know what's going on in the other person's head. Same thing with kids. Like, you don't really know, like, are they 24/7 on these devices? And then they put it down in school for a few minutes, and then we expect them to focus and concentrate. Your job is exponentially harder now because of that. without a doubt.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And that's why I asked, you know, the kind of the question about the teacher, right? Because we know teaching is not an easy job, right? Because you're dealing with parents, right? Like coaching, I said this to you one time, I couldn't be a coach because I couldn't deal with that parent who comes to me and says, my kid's the greatest, and, you know, starts yelling at me. I might say something back to them, right? And I know my kids aren't, you know, the greatest in everything yet, because they haven't found what they want to play yet, you know, and we're kind of trying to say, hey, here, let's try everything to see what you're going to succeed at. I don't care. My oldest said, Dad, I want to be an artist. Cool. I'll put you in art camp.
no,
right?
no golfers in the family, right?
So we're getting back to that, right?
Oh,
They
yeah.
just didn't like I found out, I didn't tell you that.
I know you.
I
said
put
it
my
was-
kids in golf, right? So they were there, but I found out why they didn't like the place that we were at. Because it was, they would hit a shot and then they'd wait for the other 15 kids.
Right.
And there was no
I remember
instruction.
We talked about this, yeah.
There was zero instruction
Right,
there,
right.
right? You're always,
Yeah,
right,
what's the point?
basketball, you're
Yeah.
there, you're instructing them, and it was just sitting there, so they didn't like it, so it's hot. It's there, so I looked at a different place that I can say, okay, well, now you can get some more one-on-one instruction.
Mhm.
You know, so it's, maybe we'll look at that, because I do want them to be able, because I enjoy golf, right? I want them to be able to do what I did growing up, right? I didn't play basketball growing up. I boxed and did jujitsu, right? So my kids are in jujitsu, you know, so I want to be able to do something with them that I enjoy as well. So, but yeah, being a teacher, it's such a thankless job, and I appreciate it, right? What you guys do as a coach, as a teacher, that's so exciting for me. I've said it many times. I think people in the military and teachers should be paid a lot more money than they're paid, right? Because they're the ones that are there. I mean, think about, I know with me, I get home at 5:30 and I have till about 8 o'clock with my kids in there.
Mhm.
You're with my kids all day,
All day, yeah.
you know, so you're spending more time, so I appreciate that, but I don't expect you to do everything, right? How many parents out there expect you to do everything for their kids and teach them everything?
Mhm. Yeah. It's a lot. I mean, we're with your kids more than you are.
Yeah,
And the kids who are in before school care and they're at school and then they're in after school, their parents spend an hour to an hour and a half with them in the evenings. I have 8 hours with those kids. It's so important, the interactions that we have.
Yeah,
yeah,
they should have like a glass, like a room with the glass, so the parents can see a classroom and what's going on.
yeah,
But they can't say anything. They just get- so that they could see what, because I coached also right here, actually, in Boynton. I coached at the Jewish Center
okay,
for a couple of years. And man, I would have parents like, my kid should play, and my kid should this, and my kid. And I did the same thing. There's the door, you know, he could
that's it.
play, and there's a lot of other places.
Yeah.
And now, you know, you don't get, but there's times that you can't do that, right? You can't do that.
No.
I mean, they're in school, they're paying for that.
Yeah.
It's different than a volunteer kind of thing. And,
Yeah.
but just, I think a parent needs to see like, there's kind of 30 kids in a classroom and how you have to manage that.
do you know what I think every parent should do? Have to go on a field trip,
Yeah, like, well, yeah,
field trip
yeah.
or something,
Yeah,
so
that's what-
I don't,
Volunteer.
my wife goes on a lot of the field trips, you know, she'll sponsor for that, and I don't. Yesterday was my first field trip I ever
Oh,
went
you
on with the
did?
kids. Yeah, so, and it was walking a mile to Publix, and honestly, like, I loved it because I've been traveling so much for work, and my oldest was just like, Dad, I'm gonna hold your hand the whole time, like, I was like, and it felt really good, right? To be able to go, and they were pretty good yesterday, right? But it was a mile walk there. They got to tour Publix, which I thought was really cool, right? Like, yeah, it's whatever. I mean, they put the kids in the cooler and stuff like that. I thought it was kind of fun, and they let them walk in the freezer. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not going in the freezer. Everybody else went. All the other parents went. I was the only one. I'm like, no, I'm from Wisconsin. Like, I know what cold is like. I don't want to be there. But it was getting to see how the kids interact, and most of the kids and you know, Mrs. Ollinger's amazing,
Mhm.
first of all, and she has control of her kids, but you could see how kids get out of line,
Mhm.
right? And you can see how she talks to them, and I was very impressed with, you know, hey, my friends, this is what we got to do. So I was very impressed with that. But then today they had the ice cream social at the school, right? And the book thing, and I went there, and I don't know how many kids were in there.
Sugar.
I might have lasted 15 minutes,
Sugar rush.
maybe 20. I was like, oh my, and my wife's just looking at me, laughing at me. Cause she's like, yeah, you can't handle it. I'm like, no, I couldn't, right? It's
Oh, I
it
could
was
not. I can't
too-
even handle, like, now it's like just my stepson still lives with us. And some, you know, I'm so used to just my own time and my own thing, like, I couldn't even handle that. I can't imagine, like, right now, I don't have the patience.
But
for that.
you have to be a teacher and a coach. You have to have so much patience.
Yeah,
And you're doing, so that's why I'm saying the parents need to be able to, because you need to see
Mhm.
sometimes how kids are.
And it's not necessarily just your kid and how
Correct.
it's the whole classroom,
Right.
because like John said, we have, well, depending on where you're at, I have 25 kids in my class.
Mm.
Yeah.
They're not, well, I have 75 total because I'm in a 3-wheel, so I have 75 children to be responsible for it. And all of them interact differently. They all, and so you're not just,
you don't
you
change them
don't
up.
just have to understand.
You don't
Some
just
change.
change them. High school will be a little different. High school
Jeez.
will be-
John's not gonna start a school, right?
High school will be a little different. What about this teacher shortage? Do you feel some of that affects too? I mean, the three, we've never even heard of that, but I'm sure those are
100%.
one of the things that you're doing just because it's just not
I
enough.
mean, it's hard to take days off because once you hit your limit of, the people that we have to sub in classrooms,
Mhm.
that nobody else can be off. And at that point, if somebody's sick, we're already splitting classes. So you don't just have your 25 kids, you now have 10 more from another class
Yeah.
that are now stuck in your room and you're trying to figure out the learning dynamic and like. what
And
to
then
do
all of the
all
rest of
day.
the world does is complain, like, again, they
Yeah.
don't understand the.
Nobody
issues.
understands.
Everyone just complains and,
Mhm.
it's, we gotta find a way to fix that, really come together, parents and teachers in a different way, no politics, because if we don't put our investment there, we've seen what happens. I mean, it's like.
Yeah.
That's kids are our future.
And teachers don't do this for the money, obviously.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, we do it because we love the kids and we love, but it's.
Well, Mark does, he
it's-
gets paid millions of dollars.
Yeah.
But it's hard because you're already putting pressure on us, where we have to deal with the kids, we have to deal with the parents, we have to deal with administration, we have to deal with whoever's over administration who's coming in to visit. And we're dealing with all of this and it's so much pressure that we don't want to leave. We love our kids. It's the end of the school year and it's bittersweet because these are my kids.
Right.
This is now my 5th year I still have 5th graders, 4th and 5th graders who come back to my classroom almost every single morning just to say good morning to me. I mean, these are my kids that I now have to give to another teacher. And listen, a day and a half and I'm done. And it's summertime,
You're excited.
but I am, but also like, I'm gonna cry because these are my kids.
Steve
And I
never
love them.
cries.
Yeah.
So it's.
You are a
tough.
special person. It takes a special person to be a teacher. We thank you for that. Absolutely. People like you, we need more of that. And it's really probably the only way you could stick it out, because a lot of people did leave. A lot of people left the profession and a lot of people are not coming in, so.
Yeah, there's people not coming back.
Did you see a lot of people after COVID leave?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was, as far as my experience goes, that was a lot of the older, people the
Right.
older teachers who've been doing it for a long
Time,
time and they
yeah.
didn't want to come back anyway. So they just took that opportunity and retired.
Yeah,
But yeah,
but that was managed terribly too. It was hard to, obviously, there was no right answer on how to do the whole back to
we
the
didn't have,
classroom and stuff.
we didn't have a
But
precedent.
my
There
kid
was
would be
nothing.
literally
Yeah.
in his bed asleep with the laptop, like I'd come into the room, he's asleep,
Mhm.
and it was like
Not
terrible. He lost 1.5 years of high school.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah.
Well,
Well, we
perfect.
got 2 truths and a lie from you?
Yeah, we got one more question.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit more. I know Mark touched on it, but your event.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more, about your event. If you can tell us like who's gonna be there, or anything like that. We know Rashad's gonna be there. Don't bring the gloves, right? I don't want Rashad,
So gut shot.
Scratch.
Just
Just-
pull up and one,
you
just take a gut shot.
Just one shot,
Yeah,
right?
one.
What if I say to him, let me go first?
Yeah,
And then you go second? And then
I've
as
seen
soon as
that,
I
I've
do
seen
that,
that not
oh,
work
I'm
out too well, but
Yeah.
you can try.
I did that one time. I said, okay, we'll play the game to see who hits harder, right?
Yeah.
And I said, but you let me to the gut. I said, okay, but I get to go first. He's like, okay. Boom, I punched him and I go, you win. I didn't even get hit. I just let him go. But give us some more
Yeah.
detail, right? So the audience, we're gonna release this so people can hear about it. Tell us a little bit more about the event.
So we're gonna have you guys there, obviously, and we're gonna do the live podcast. We're gonna have a DJ dancing. I myself am making some of the food with one of my friends. We're gonna get together and
Cool.
it's gonna be yummy. We're gonna have like manly appetizers, meatballs, pulled pork sandwiches, that kind of thing.
Sweet cigars and White Claw.
That's right. That's I knew.
Sign me up. I'm gonna be there.
Hi, dude, I'm sorry.
Manly is I eat more red meat than anybody. Man, do I love my White Claw. I knew.
Sounds like a party.
We're gonna have several of our board members and supporters that are
Okay.
signed up to kind of talk about their weeding through the BS stories. They own their own businesses, most of them. We have a guy who started the watch collection. They have high-end watches. I believe we're getting one donated for the raffle as well. We have some paintings, we have cigars, all kinds of stuff. And we also have an auction. We're planning on having some sports memorabilia and auction.
Well, I should auction my game. I'll bring a copy of the golf game that we spoke about it. I'll bring it to auction.
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good spot for that.
And then the goal is to also have some trips on auction. That's not locked in yet, but 7 to 11 or 7 to midnight. And we're gonna be there hanging out.
Smoking, Boynton Beach, Gateway Boulevard.
Gateway Boulevard, yep.
Good spot.
Man,
Yeah, you'll love it. It's a great restaurant. It's just a great spot.
Excited about that. Maybe you should give a cruise away at the end of July for like a 3-day cruise. And they just automatically give to me. Then I don't, I'll automatically put on it, right? All right, so last vote, 2 truths and a lie.
Oh,
Ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Okay, all right. I have stock in Starbucks. My twins are an hour and 10 minutes apart. And it took me 7 years to get my first degree.
Oh, these are good. These are good. These are a tough one.
I wasn't looking at you for no kind of lie.
You weren't, yeah.
Like that, so.
I didn't keep-
Just listening.
It wasn't as easy as Mark's.
Yeah.
Mark is still wet from last week.
Oh.
Maybe he didn't drip it. That's all. Oof. You go first on this one. I'm going first.
Man, I don't know.
These are
I'm
really
trying to-
good.
I'm trying
The
to-
one is a lie.
What is a lie?
One is a lie. Oh, I know the lie. I know it.
Are you going with twins?
Yes, they're not a minute 10 apart.
An hour and 10.
An hour and 10. So don't, yeah, so that's the BS. What do you think?
That's what I was thinking too. I was going stock in Starbucks, but for some
Or it
reason
could be-
I thought Starbucks was a private company.
Wait,
but I don't
can
know.
I change it? I can change it.
You guys can do whatever you want. It's your.
Because we've been tricked before and you're a pro. You're definitely really good. at this.
I'm staying with the twins.
All right, I'm
right?
gonna
I'm not
switch
gonna-
it to the 7-year degree. I think that's BS.
Those are both truths. I do not
Oh.
have stock in Starbucks. I'm a really good liar.
Awesome liar, man.
We haven't both been beaten. Maybe a couple.
I thought you were
times.
gonna say I got it in 6 years. So they try to trick us by saying,
Yeah.
oh,
So, I mean, like,
right.
but-
So I was thinking minute 10 was, an hour and 10 was maybe an hour and 8 minutes, because that's a very specific
Yeah.
number, but great job.
Oh,
Yeah,
awesome. Well, thank you both, Mark, Stacy here. We're excited about the event at Smoke In, June 9th. Come out there.
Support,
Support,
great
phenomenal cause.
Yeah.
Right? Cause, thank you for telling us a little bit about your story and everything. Till next time, everybody out there, read through the BS. Talk to you soon.